Traditional retirement income strategies are not doing as well as they used to be. The 4% rule was a great rule that the FIRE community kind of embraced, and people are able to kind of move into that FIRE portion of their retirement. But here's the thing, is not everybody has those tech jobs. Not everybody's got $1 million to $2 or $3 million portfolio so they can withdraw 4%. And so we are in that kind of that position where inflation is starting to overtake, and people are looking at maybe they can't retire at 65. Maybe they can't retire at 70. Maybe they have to work at Walmart until they're 75, 80 years old just for that extra income. But today we're going to be talking about something else. We're going to be talking about, should covered call ETFs be a part of your retirement plan? Should it be something that you may be looking at too? And are covered call ETFs able to boost your retirement income so you can retire earlier? This video is purely educational content. It should not be considered personal finance advice. I'm not a licensed financial advisor, and I don't know your financial situation, risk tolerance, or even investment goals. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results, and always do your own research and consider consulting with a qualified financial professional before making any investment. Alright, let's get on to the video. Hey guys, my name is Steve and I run the Frugal Expat website where we try to help people to save more and invest better. And today we're going to be talking about the traditional income streams that most retirements have. We're going to be talking about what are covered call ETFs and how they work. We're going to be talking about the risk and trade-offs of covered call ETFs. And we're also going to look at some real life examples of how these covered call ETFs can work for your retirement income. Let's dive in, let's talk about it. And if you have any comments, make sure to leave that comment in the comment box and let's talk about it. All right, let's get to it. Now let's break down some traditional income streams. First of all, most people look at, you've got dividends from traditional dividend stocks or dividend ETFs. In these stocks and ETFs, they give you anywhere between a 2 to 4% yield, just depending on the year and depending on how much money they are distributing to their shareholders. Now, classic ETFs like SCHD does about 3.5 to 4%. Then you have FDVV doing about 3%. You have VYM doing about 2.5 to almost 3%. And so you're getting that 3 to 4% on most of these dividend ETFs and also those dividend stocks. Now, the bad part about these is some of the dividend stocks may just have yield, but they may not have as much capital appreciation. So if you were to have $1 million portfolio in maybe a good ETF like an SCHD or an FDVV or even VYM, you're going to get that 2.5 to 4% yield, and your hope is you're going to kind of live on that yield. So let's say $1 million portfolio is anywhere between $25,000 to about $40,000 a year from those dividends, and so you're hoping to live on that. So most people need anywhere between $60,000 to $80,000 for their income needs when they retire, and so that portfolio is going to be closer to about maybe 1.75 to all the way to $2 million. And so if you don't have that much money, well, then maybe you're a little bit out of luck, but you're hoping that Social Security will kind of cover that. But if Social Security runs out in the US government, well, then that maybe you're out of luck as well. So that's why we're taking a look at these. And also remember, inflation continues to eat out that money every single year, so you're hoping that there's going to be price appreciation and growth. Our second way of kind of looking at retirement income is selling some of those assets. Now, the FIRE movement is really big on that 4% rule, and so like I said, you need like a $2 million portfolio, and your hope is to withdraw 4% and have capital appreciation of about 3% per year. So that's a real return of about 7%. But most things you're looking at is like an S&P 500 ETF will get you anywhere between, that 7 to 10% yearly returns. And so you're hoping that it continues to grow, that you can withdraw that 4%. But you also need $2 million saved up. And so that just prolongs everything, and that means the more you prolong it, the more money you actually need to invest, because inflation continues to go and time continues to go as well. So those are some avenues for retirement income. Another one would be like bond interest. A lot of people get a little bit more conservative the closer they get to retirement, so they get more into bonds. Now, we have seen with bonds, once interest rates continue to come down, those bond rates will continue to come down as well, and so you're going to need to search for dividend ETFs. And so there's just kind of a cycle. And so you have to think about, does my retirement plan give me enough income for the future? That's where covered call ETFs come in. Now, a lot of people don't understand covered calls. They don't understand covered call ETFs. And so we're going to kind of talk about them and see what they are, why they're getting so popular, and should you put this into your portfolio. Now, what are covered call ETFs? Now, covered calls in their basic form are basically you own a stock, about 100 different shares of that stock, and you sell the option to someone else to buy that from you at a certain price. And that person that's buying that option will also give you a premium in order to buy it. Now, if your stock never hits that price, you keep the premium. If it does hit that price, you sell the stock at that price, but you still keep the premium. For example, if you have a stock that's worth $100 and you think it's going to go up, maybe up to about $10, you can sell a covered call on your assets. You may be getting $2 per share for that 100 shares, and so you'll get a $200 premium. Now, if that stock never hits that $110, you still keep the premium. If it does hit that $110, you keep the premium and you get that $10 of appreciation on that stock. And so it's kind of a win-win. And that's how covered call ETFs work. Now, the difference between selling one stock versus a covered call ETF, covered call ETF is going to have more stocks and it's going to have a management team that's selling these for you, and they're going to distribute these distributions of premiums every single month, and so you're able to kind of continue to have monthly income. Now, a classic example of these would be like an SPYI from Neos. It sells the S&P 500, and so what it does, it sells covered calls on the S&P 500. It has 11.6% yield, so that's roughly about 1% per month, and you're gonna get kind of that yield every single month. So like $100,000 portfolio would give you around $11,600 per year, which is around $970 per month. And so you're going to be able to collect that money per month and continue to go and go. Now, some popular covered call ETFs on the market are SPYI QQQI. Those are both from Neos. You have GPIQ from Goldman Sachs, GPIX from Goldman Sachs. You have some others like JPQ, which is from JP Morgan. So these are some popular covered call ETFs that a lot of people talk about, and some of them are really actually good. The Neos funds, like SPYI and QQQI, are some of the better ones. Goldman Sachs has some great ones as well with great price appreciation, lower yields, but good price appreciation. So these are some great covered call ETFs that you could add to your portfolio. Now, with these covered calls, you are going to have some risk, some trade-offs. And that's just a part of owning some of these ETFs. First of all is the capped upside. Now, what I mean by capped upside is if you have a stock at $100 and you sell it at 110, well, your upside is capped at the 110. Now, if this stock were to go up to 120, you're just going to lose out on that extra $10. And that's the capped upside. And that's kind of the trade-off of having these covered call ETFs. You're going to have kind of a capped upside on your full potential. But I mean, that's the trade-off. You're getting yield, but you're also capping your upside. Our second one is going to be NAV erosion. Now, I'm not saying that all covered call ETFs are going to have NAV erosion, and NAV erosion means the price is going to depreciate over time. Now, a lot of these that I talk about, they usually have some good NAV acceleration, and so that's why, or appreciation, that's why I like them. I mean, GPIQ and GPIX are doing pretty good. QQQI and SPYI do moderately okay. And covered call ETF like a JEPI, maybe not as well. JEPI, since in the last 5 years, has gone up about 4.8%, while GPIX, which is from Goldman Sachs, has been around since October of 2023, and it's gone up about 35% in that same time period. That's price appreciation, not total return. And so you're getting JEPI, it's basically you're getting yield. GPIX, you're getting both yield and price appreciation. So that's could be one of the drawbacks or trade-offs of having covered call ETFs. Another trade-off could be market conditions. With volatile markets, you're getting juicier premiums, which means more money in your pocket. Now, if the markets calm down and slowly go up, then you may not have those juicy premiums, and so you may have a little bit less income coming in. Another drawback could be interest rates. If interest rates were to go up a little bit higher because maybe inflation's coming in higher, well, people are going to kind of gravitate towards safer investments like treasuries. Now, if they were to come down, maybe they're going to gravitate towards those safer ETFs like an SCHD, an FDVV, VYM, a DGRO. But with these 10 to 12 to 13% yields with some of these covered call ETFs, it's just a great place to kind of get some of the yield, and there's obviously trade-offs. Another trade-off could be the return of capital. Some of these are returning your capital, which lowers your cost basis. But if there's no NAV erosion, NAV keeps on going up, then that could be not as bad as people may make it out to be. And so that's good news to you. Now, if it's like a company or an ETF like MSTY or ULTY from YieldMax, those NAV erosions has destroyed the value of the money, and any ROC right there will be continuing to go down in value, and it's just not a good place to be. So make sure to always do your research. If you have found value in this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment. And one of my favorite places where I like to track my portfolio is Snowball Analytics. I've been using them since February 2025. It's a great place where I can see the ups and downs of my portfolio. I can create goals for my portfolio. I can see how many funds, how many stocks I'm owning, and I can also research some new ETFs in this software. If you want, you can sign up for a free version, of course, or you can sign up for maybe a paid version. I'm gonna leave a link in my description and a link in my pinned comments. If you want a piece of the paid version, I have a discount in my link. So kind of sign up with that link so you can get that discount, or use the promo code, the Frugal Expat. And guys, remember, this is an affiliate link, so it helps support my channel. But like I said, if you use my link, you'll also get a discount. So if you want to choose it, choose it. If not, that's okay. All right, let's get back to the video and keep listening and keep researching. All right, let's get back. Now, if we were to do a real example of kind of these cover call ETFs in your portfolio, let's say you were to invest $100,000 into SPYI. Now, SPYI, like I said, it has a yield of about 11.6%. Now, it's got an expense ratio of 0.68%, and that's because, the management team needs to be able to manage it properly, and they're also doing other things. So they sell out of the money cover calls on about 75% of their portfolio, allowing a little bit to kind of appreciate. Now, they may have a little bit more, a little bit less, and that's just part of the game that they're trying to play. They also will, when conditions are right, buy some call options on some of those assets. So if the market does take off, they're able to capitalize on some of those call options as well. Now with this, like I said, it's got 11.6%. So with a $100,000 portfolio, you're getting $11,600 yearly in dividends. So that's about $967 per month in dividends. Now, if you compare this to like maybe a bond or a treasury that's getting 4%, 4% treasury is going to get about $4,000 per year. One of those safe dividend ETFs like an SCHD that's doing about 3.68% is going to give you $3,600, $3,700 per year. And maybe an FDVV, which has got more price appreciation with a yield of 3%, it's going to give you $3,000 in dividends per year. Now, if I was to add and wanted some more income, SPYI would be a better fit. It's very diverse, it's more conservative. Plus, you're also getting that $11,600 or $11,000 per year, and that's pretty good, and that kind of beats some of those classic traditional retirement income assets. So that's kind of a way that you can add those cover call ETFs into your portfolio and get a little bit extra income. Obviously, you can get those traditional ones, but this just gives you a little bit more high-end yield, and it can help you out when markets are kind of flat, and it can give you some of that income that maybe is missing from your retirement. Now, I have talked about already some 4 great ETFs as an SPYI, QQQI, GPIQ, and JEPQ. I'm going to break those down just to show you guys how they differ, and then you can pick and choose which one you like. First of all, we've got SPYI, which is the NEOS S&P 500 High Income ETF. It's got a yield of about 11.6%. It's got an expense ratio of 0.68%, meaning it costs about $68 for every $10,000 invested. It's one of the older NEOS funds. It's got a little bit of upside with it, but it also has a very conservative approach, having some of those S&P 500 assets under management. Another NEOS fund would be QQQI. QQQI, which is the NEO's Nasdaq 100 high income ETF. This ETF has anywhere between 13 to 15% yield. It's sitting at about 13.68% right now. It's a little bit newer, but it also won Best Actively Managed ETF in 2025, so it's a great ETF. It's got about $8 billion in assets under management, and it continues to grow for the long term. It does have an expense ratio of 0.68%. It's gonna be a little bit more volatile than the S&P 500 because it's tech focused instead of more of the broad market focus. So you're gonna get a little bit more volatility because of technology, but you're also gonna get some of that higher yields because of the volatility. Now, Goldman Sachs made a Nasdaq 100 ETF as well, and that is a GPIQ. Now, GPIQ is the Goldman Sachs Premium Income ETF. The ETF has a yield around 10 to 11%. And so you're not getting that yield like you'll get with QQQI, but on the flip side, you're gonna get some more price appreciation. Now, the price appreciation is going to range anywhere between 7 to 9% depending on how the market does. And that's because they're not selling all their assets under management. They're selling anywhere between 25 to 50%. In the perspective, it says 25 to 75%. But on average, it does maybe a little bit less. So then it allows kind of the portfolio to grow on its own. And it's a little bit different than the NEOS funds because instead of selling out of the money cover call options, it sells at the money cover call options. That way it kind of maximizes kind of that income, but it also allows half or a little bit less than half of the portfolio to grow. And so you're getting kind of that price appreciation and that income all in one. It's also got an expense ratio of 0.29%. So it's the cheapest on expense ratio. It's from Goldman Sachs. And so you're getting a great ETF that you can buy and hold for the future. Our last ETF is JEPQ, which is the JP Morgan Nasdaq 100 Premium Income ETF. This ETF tracks Nasdaq 100 just like JEPQ and QQQI. It's got a yield around 9%. It also has an expense ratio of 0.35%. So it costs about $35 for every $10,000 invested. The NAV appreciation or the price appreciation is not that high, just like JEPI, but it's been around a little bit longer. And the problem with this that I dislike is the income is taxed as ordinary income. Now, the other ETFs I have mentioned are more tax efficient with returning of capital, with some of their contracts. NEO uses 1256 contracts, which means 60% is long-term, 40% short-term. But with JEPQ, that is not the case. It is all ordinary income, and so you're getting that ordinary income rate. It would be best if it was in a Roth IRA, and so where you don't get taxed on that, but then it's not really adding into your income right now. So if I had a choice, if I were to rank these based upon yield and cost, you know, QQQI has the best yield of all. And it's got a good 13 to 15% yield. And so you're looking for more income, QQQI would be my choice. If you're looking for a balance between income and growth, as in price appreciation, GPIQ would be that choice. If you're a more conservative investor and looking more conservatively, SPYI would be that choice. If you're looking for something that's with JP Morgan, JPQ would be that choice. It wouldn't be my choice, but a choice that you could make. So these are some great cover call ETFs that you could add to your traditional retirement. Now, I'm not saying that you can go into these. I'm not saying this could be the one you want to use. You may want to go with those traditional sources of income, and that is part of your plan. Each person's plan is different, but this is how you can use cover call ETFs to kind of supplement that traditional retirement income. Now, let me know in the comments. Do you like some of these cover call ETFs? What are some cover call ETFs that maybe I'm forgetting? I know there's some great ones like QDVO, IDVO, or even like Devo. So let me know in the comments. What are some ones you're investing in, and are you putting some of these into your retirement income? If you want to learn a little bit about some of my favorite ones for 2026, check out this video up here. All right, and I'll see you guys in our next video.